We've got husband and wife duo Dr. John Diaz and Ursula Diaz in the studio to talk about bedside manners and how to have a healthy relationship while working with your spouse. We'll play our game Rip the Bandaid and sip on our nightcap, the Pinot Botox-io, tonight on It's Complicated.
You're listening to It's Complicated with your hosts Jennifer Golden and Lauren Leonelli, coming to you live from the AfterBuzz TV studios in Los Angeles, California.
Hello, Master Daters. Welcome back for another episode of It's Complicated.
Struggle is real when you're dating in the city.
I'm Jen.
And I'm Lauren. And tonight we are really excited because we're discussing bedside manners and how to have a healthy relationship when you work with your spouse with Dr. John Diaz and Ursula Diaz.
Yes, guys, and a little bit about them. Dr. John Diaz is a graduate from Cornell University and graduated with the highest honors, receiving the Alpha Omega Alpha Award, which is given to the...
Sounds really fucking official.
Just a lot of words together. Award. It's super important because only the top 10% of medical students in the country get this.
Legit.
So he's the top 10%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, guys, then he completed his training in plastic and reconstructive surgery in New York City, where he worked alongside some of the most famous plastic surgeons in the world. And he's a published author of articles in plastic surgery and received a degree with distinction in plastic surgery research for his work.
Yeah, and along with the numerous awards he has received, one of them, he is also a medical staff member of the renowned Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in LA. If you're not from LA, then you've heard about it a million times. Mm-hmm. And he has a private practice in Beverly Hills. And John also serves as the vice president of the Los Angeles Society of Plastic Surgeons. He's presented at lectures and talked about plastic surgery all throughout the United States. And you've probably seen him appearing on TV. He has been on shows like CNN, Dr. Drew's Life Changers, and HLN, just all over the place.
All over it. And with more than a decade of experience in the beauty and skincare industry, guys, we have Ursula Diaz,
yes,
who serves as a skincare consultant to a breadth of clients, including some of the best-known faces and talents of Los Angeles.
Which we won't divulge.
No.
We don't know them.
But just, use your imagination, because they all get it done.
They all do it. We're going to talk about that, too.
Maybe some people here. I don't know. But guys, she was a former model, and she's appeared in print ads for commercials like Dockers, Levi's, Dodge, and Gap, just to name a few. Mm-hmm. And then she went on to become a makeup artist and worked with MAC Cosmetics, where she enhanced her knowledge of how to enhance beautiful-looking skin. And she graduated from the University of San Francisco as a communications major with an emphasis in marketing, and went on to get a postgraduate degree from UCLA and earn a certificate in cosmetic chemistry.
So all of those things got married together, and then in 2012 she partnered with her husband, who she also married.
Right.
That's why they're husband and wife. And they launched their medical grade skincare line, Honor MD. Just saying, if it's not medical grade, do not bother. We'll also get into that. That's my opinion. I'm saying that. And she really found like a passion in it, because after struggling with acne for years, she really felt like she wanted to help other people overcome some normal skincare concerns that they have, like acne and anti-aging. And so this line was created, and it's awesome. Look, here it is, everyone.
Yes. What do we have here?
It's a toner, which is awesome and medical grade. And this is Renew, an anti-aging medical grade. I believe it's like a serum. Oh, it's vitamin C.
Yeah, and it's serum.
I've used this before, and it's amazing. And also, I am so excited to slather my face with it later.
Cannot wait to do. It's like my favorite thing, to take off all the makeup and just do my process, which gets longer every year.
Oh yeah, because there's 1,000 products. But I
feel so pretty after I do it. I go to bed so pretty.
Yeah, you need to have a system. So we're going to get into that as well.
So guys, these two are married to their work and have successfully fused their marriage with their work while making all of LA feel pretty, and are a beautiful couple themselves. Welcome to the show, Dr. John Diaz and Ursula Diaz.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Yay. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule, being that you are a surgeon and running a business with your wife here, and you are here, and they also have a baby.
Yeah.
She's 9 months old?
11.
11 months old. How did that happen? Oh my God.
Time flying or sex?
I mean, anyway, talk about busy and like figuring out how to balance life and make everything amazing.
They're doing
right?
it.
So with all of that, there's a long way to go for both of us. So we need a drink. We are going to have our nightcap. But John is not drinking.
No.
Sorry, boring John. He has responsibilities being that he's a surgeon. So you can have your water. Have fun with that.
Thank you.
But we are all having our nightcap. We're calling it Pinot Botox-io because,
Because once you drink it, you can't see your lines
you
anymore.
can't. Well, no, but actually, this is a Coppola family canned wine, and it's actually very, very good. And this wine in particular is described as vibrant and smooth, which is how we feel your face looks like after you get some injections. So, cheers to that.
Cheers.
And drink it in. And cheers, Ursula, and not you, John.
Right.
I'll
Cheers my water.
Yeah, I don't think it's bad luck to cheers water.
I heard that it was, but it's fine. You guys,
people have all
you guys
kinds
are
of
already
things
lucky
to
and
say.
amazing. So
Exactly.
yes.
So today, guys, we're discussing bedside manners when it comes to relationship. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But we're also going to talk about how to have a healthy relationship when working with your spouse. So now to kick things off, whose idea was it to work together?
Yours.
Yeah, definitely.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you have any reservations at all? Were you like, this could work or not?
No, it's funny because I told Ursula, after dating her for a short while, I was like, I knew this was the woman I was going to marry.
How did you know?
Yeah, wait, can you just tell, like,
How'd you meet that whole thing?
So you know how you hear, when you know, right?
Yeah.
You hear that all the time,
Yeah.
right?
Which is super annoying, right?
Right?
Yeah.
And I
Because
remember,
it's like you want a recipe. You're like, I can't follow that.
But what does that mean?
What does it look like?
I'll tell you exactly what it felt like. So before, when I was dating, I was just like, what does this mean? Like, when you know. And I never felt that. And I just thought that was some myth.
Mm-hmm.
So dating Ursula, just everything about her, like we just fit together so well. And the best way I can describe it, and this is for all the guy listeners out there, I felt like with her, I was at peace. Like that was it. Like there was nothing more I wanted. There was nothing more I needed. Just being with her was like everything I wanted. And that peace was how I knew that she was the one. Just feeling
That's
that
so
peace.
sweet.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you guys?
I'm sure it doesn't get old.
Right.
No, it doesn't. I'm like, what was the piece?
Right. Because, other times, like, you're like, oh, I don't know, something doesn't feel right. You
Right.
just never felt like it was all there. But with her, it was
Or you have
just like,
anxiety that comes out of nowhere.
There's a level of like safety and comfortability, which is not to be confused with like a lack of something. That's just a good feeling, like you said, calm and nice.
Yeah.
Like that's a good thing. That's kind
right.
of what you want. Don't like poo-poo that, people.
Right.
No,
It
that's
doesn't.
the goal.
And I have known Ursula for a long time. We grew up together. So I met John before you guys got married. And I remember I may have
That's
been in his
right.
office for some sort of a treatment, which we'll get into, because we also don't think that women should be shy about wanting to make
No.
yourself feel beautiful on the outside. You do a lot of inner work. Like that's great. But also on the outside, like there's nothing wrong. I don't think people should be like shamed or made fun of unless you want to keep it private for whatever reasons. But like if you want to make yourself feel pretty all over the place, then do you, girl. So I was in
Amen.
John's office to get some things done. And John and Ursula were just dating. And he was like, I'll never forget, I almost cried. He was like, she really is just like the best. And I was like, I just could see that he meant it. And I was like, wow. Like, these are the two nicest people I've ever met in my life. They could not be a better couple. I was just like, it's so nice to see that.
And that's why I love Lauren.
Well,
She's your cheerleader.
I
But
mean-
okay, so now going back to the question, did you have any reservations? Obviously, we know that you think she's the best thing ever,
Right.
so maybe you didn't. But
So what happened is then, several months later, well, actually, like probably a year later, when I knew that I was going to propose and that she was going to, I was going to propose to her and that she was going to be my wife. She was working at a very high stress fashion company, and she was like so stressed out and it was so hard. And I was working my butt off in the private practice, and something that I had always wanted, we talked about, was doing skincare. We just loved it and talked about it, and always were like sharing ideas and whatever. And I just was like, why, like my thought was, why don't I tell her, let's work together?
Yeah.
Like we're gonna spend our lives together. Let's build something together that's ours. And that was my thinking.
But we were just dating, so
Yeah.
I had reservations. I'm like,
Right.
like I can help you, but like I don't know if like full time.
And she didn't know I was gonna propose yet. So that's the thing. See, I knew I was gonna propose.
So you had that insight.
Which question was scarier to ask? The one that we should work together or marry each other?
To work together, because I knew I needed to marry her, so that was fine.
Yeah. And that, obviously, if you're asking someone to marry you, most of the time you think the answer is clear.
I would
Hopefully.
hope you would assume they would say yes, but some
Well,
people I feel like don't get that same
people
answer.
like to come out of nowhere and ask a question like that, and that's just stupid.
And some
read your
guys
audience.
and some guys are so nervous to ask that question.
Yeah.
We've heard stories of guys who are carrying the ring around for like a week or months, even though they were planning on proposing, but they're so scared to do it that they keep postponing it.
Dude, what is that a bad sign, do you think?
I don't know.
Or-
I wanted to
You
bring
were-
that ring out. I
yeah.
was ready to put a
Yes,
ring on
it's
it.
what
Probably
ring on it.
exactly. It's probably like burning a hole in your pocket.
Yeah,
So you're like,
yeah.
well, I have it. Would you like to marry me?
And
Let's
just do
this.
it. Yeah. Okay. So, but also, you guys, just a little factoid. There are like 1.4 million businesses in the U.S. that are run by a husband and wife team, and that is like steadily growing. So I think a lot of people, they spend a lot of time, a lot of people are like working professionals now, men and women. It's 2018. Okay. And people are
It
like,
is.
why do we not like make these two things work together? And we can now have time together. But I think that can be kind of like a hard situation to navigate through, because you want to make sure like you're not bringing work to home and home to work. Like, how do you compartmentalize and make sure, let's say you're at home and like you're annoyed with each other or whatever. Nobody's Leave It to Beaver here. We know that everyone has like disagreements and arguments or whatever. Like then you got to go to the office and you're like, okay.
You have another 8 hours in each other's
You're like,
face. And you're like, hello again.
"Shit."
Here we
Like,
are.
I mean, but in the reverse, like you know, whatever, I don't know, or not in the reverse, because I guess if you're happy, you're happy. It doesn't really matter. But like, you also want to go home and then maybe if something good is happening, like, oh my God, we're launching our skincare line. I'm like so excited. You get home, you're with Sage, your daughter, and you're like, let's just be with our daughter. Like, you don't keep talking about things, but what if there's some things, there's not only enough hours in the day? Like, you need to talk more.
Do you
about
ever
the
find
stuff.
yourself like burping your baby and like having a meeting?
all the time. And I feel like John's really good about setting boundaries, and
Okay.
I'm not, because I'm like, I never see you. Let's just talk about it right now. And that's part of the reason why it works so well. Because
Okay.
even when we shared an office, like a really small one, John's really busy, like with patients or surgery.
You don't go with him to the surgeries. I'm just kidding.
Sometimes, if
I
like,
want
have a
her
really
to. I
pressing
want her to.
question. I don't really have a stomach for it, but sometimes I have to go back there. But I think that's part of it. Like he's really busy doing other things. So even though we share a space and we have to have meetings, it helps that we're not like on top of each other
Yeah.
all the time. And now that I have a baby, I work from home.
Yes.
Some of the time. So
But it's like this. It's like 5:30 in the morning. We're barely half awake. I'm brushing my teeth. It's like, by the way, I thought of this great thing that we can
No.
do, and it hit me this.
But then
last
when
night.
am I going to tell him?
Right.
So I have to be
or it's
better
like,
at
stop
that.
what you're doing. I need to take a social media photo. Like, put your hand down.
Yeah. But like you guys also, I'm sure, make time like when it gets really hectic and the balance feels off, because I'm sure sometimes it does. Like you then probably think to yourself, like, it's time for a vacation. And like that's when something like that is something to pay attention to when you're working with a spouse. Like sometimes it's not going to be easy to balance. Sometimes it's going to bleed into home conversations. Sometimes you're going to be exhausted and not feeling like paying attention to each other just because you get home and you're like, screw this, I'm going to sleep.
Or are you? Because maybe you're not like that.
Or maybe, but I'm sure it happens sometimes. Like it's unavoidable to be tired.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, and I think right now, our biggest challenge is being new parents and like being really, really busy with our businesses. So we do get tired.
Yeah.
But even last night, like we made time to talk. I mean, it's getting really late. The baby's sleeping. Like we have to talk about it. But we're learning how to navigate that right now. Like trying to make time for business and each other.
I used to go 36 hours without sleep. So like, oh yeah.
Oh,
So
'cause,
you're
like,
used to this. then.
Yeah,
Okay.
so like sometimes I'm super tired when I get home because I've had a long day or whatever. But I'm like, I know we need to get this done. I know we need to talk about it. So put it on. Like, let's go. Let's talk about it. Let's get it done.
Yeah, and that's also important too, I think. Like you're home and you're like, we're home, but also like if this doesn't get paid attention to, like it's gonna be a
Right.
problem. So
Yeah.
let's just have like a quick 10-minute convo and then we'll have a date or do whatever you're doing.
But is it fun working together? Like, do you love it?
I do.
I love it. And it's new. Like this is a whole new chapter. So I feel like we're figuring it out. But I loved being in the office together. And everyone makes fun of us because we just came from the same house. And then like he goes into the OR and I have a meeting and we like meet each other in the hallway. And we're like, hi.
They are like
And
that.
people are like, who
We'll
are you
like
guys?
start kissing and making out in like the hallway.
Wait, do you really do that?
Swear to God, sometimes I go in the patient's room, like I'm seeing a follow-up or something, and I have like makeup on my lips.
Tastefully, not like making
No,
out.
right. Like, no, but you know, like we're affectionate. We're very affectionate
Yes,
with each
they
other.
are, yeah.
So like I'll come in the room and I'll do a consultation, and I walk out and they're like, Dr. Diaz, you have, and I'm like looking in the mirror, oh my God.
Ursula.
I like red lipstick.
You do. It's true. That's cute. But I mean, that's the kind of thing that everyone wants. You know, you want to be with someone where you feel like that draw is always there. I still wake up and like look at my boyfriend when I wake up. I'm like, you got handsomer overnight. And I'm like, he did for some reason. I don't know how. Also, he does like gross boy stuff. And
I thought you were going to say Botox. I was like,
no,
oh,
no, he wants Botox
him
though.
too.
Wait, he wants Botox.
Bring him in.
Yeah,
Where?
yeah,
No.
yeah.
So
On what?
I have Botox. John just injected my face. Don't be shy about it, girls. So it's all here, and everyone look it. Like, see it. So you can't. I mean,
So you
maybe
look natural.
Yeah, it's like
Very natural. There's still
because
movement.
there's still movement and there's still some wrinkles. Yeah, and yeah, Jen has no movement.
For those that are listening, you can't see my face not moving, but just kidding. It does. It does move.
No, it does
I
move.
too have Botox. In fact, the person that administers my Botox is a guy I dated for like 5 dates, and now he is my Botoxer. So
That's fine.
It's a really great professional relationship we have now.
Win-win situation.
I know. So there we go. I mean, I could always switch, but
You could always switch. But the point is that I think that there's this weird stigma behind like getting injections in your face or doing whatever. And listen, if you don't want to talk about it, that's your own personal thing. But like,
I think that's a deeper issue.
I think
people
it's
don't want to talk about
okay
it.
to just say like, this is the other thing that doesn't make sense to me, right? Like, you're spending a shit ton of money on like creme de la mer or whatever the hell it's called, which P.S. my opinion, does nothing for your skin because there's nothing in it really besides there's just
It smells really good.
I feel like go for medical grade stuff because there's actual stuff in the product. Like you guys in this, there's what
Vitamin C,
ferulic acid.
ferulic acid,
Ferulic
yes.
acid. Okay, what does ferulic acid do?
Ferulic acid, it potentiates or magnifies the effects of the vitamin C and E together. So vitamin C is incredible. Vitamin E is incredible. The two together are even better. And then ferulic acid magnifies it.
Okay. And
Sounds
so
magical.
to
really.
me, I'm like, I would rather spend money on things that are going to produce actual results. And if you're trying to like, you're spending $500 on cream to get rid of wrinkles, like you're still trying to get rid of wrinkles.
Right, just
So
go
if
get Botox.
if the creme de la mer froze your muscles like Botox, you wouldn't be like, I didn't put anything on my face. You'd be like, it's creme de la mer. But Botox is like, no, I didn't do that. It's like, it's still not what you were born with it. Maybe you're born with it. Maybe it's Dr. Diaz. I don't know.
Maybe it is.
Just
It's
just
definitely
be
not
real
Maybelline
about the
that
fact
gets
that
rid
you're
of the lines.
just be real about the fact that you're trying to improve yourself, and
Yes.
that's not a bad thing if that's what makes you feel good.
Also, I do think, I mean, some people have more expressive foreheads than others. I have a lot of emotions to share with the world. And so I have these deep rooted lines that
Yeah.
are so emotional.
And it's preventative too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think people are getting more comfortable
Yeah,
talking about
I
Botox.
think they are
and
too.
It's like statistically 9 out of 10 people get it done.
What? Oh, God.
Something crazy like that.
I mean, so everyone, that's like higher than
Everyone
STDs.
does it. I haven't. It's higher than HPV people.
Well, there you go.
That is a
So just
epidemic.
assume everyone has it.
And they
Not
do.
HPV,
There's
but Botox.
so many women I know that have it. I'm like, listen, it's not just go for it.
It's almost a bonding thing, really. Like when I hear someone else has it, I'm like, oh, you too? Who do you go to?
yeah,
How many units do you get?
yeah. Well, I don't even know.
I do.
Oh well.
You sound very educated.
And just so you know, what's funny is, and Ursula knows this, there's so many people I inject. Let me back that up. There's so many people that I know that are like, oh, you shouldn't get Botox. I can't believe people do that. Blah. And then there's like all these people in our circle that
Yeah.
they know.
Well, it's usually the husbands.
Right,
not
or
the
even
wives.
and they don't know that everyone else is doing it, so they think like, oh yeah, nope, none of them do it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, they were just in my office like
Yes.
last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they do. And my boyfriend actually said that. He's like, I really like a natural girl. And he may or may not have dated girls that are just because they're not wearing makeup doesn't mean they're not natural, which is do with that what you will. I'm just saying, like, it's not you can't really you can't really tell sometimes, and that's a good thing. But also like he was then informed by a couple of his girlfriends that they all have fillers and injections, and he was like, oh my God, I didn't know that. I'm like, oh yeah, she's got this and she's got this, we all just talked about it. And he's like, dude, and it made him go like this, I want Botox. And I'm like, do it, because
That's so funny.
Although, what do you think it is, John and Ursula? Like, why is it okay for men to have like wrinkles and gray hair? Like,
but not for women. We
but
look
like,
so old.
and I will say this: like, I like the way a man looks with wrinkles and gray hair.
So do I.
But what
it's so
is that?
unfair. I don't know.
What is that
Like maybe
thing?
it's like rugged, like a rugged
Yeah,
look.
maybe.
Yeah, and they look wise and they look like
Yeah.
mature
Very
and manly.
distinguished.
Just exactly, it's a different look. I don't
guess-
know that we want to look like any of the things we just said.
No.
Wise and distinguished. Maybe when I'm a grandma,
Wise.
come
Yeah.
to me for advice when I'm a grandma.
Yeah,
and I
could
look
you
wise and
imagine
distinguished.
on a date if a guy looked across the table at you and was like, "You look so wise"? I'd be like, "Fuck off."
I was told recently that I looked like I was burning holes into his eyes. So maybe I'm wise.
Oh my God, Jen, I don't think that's a good thing.
I don't know. Ask him. But anyway,
maybe you need a couple more injections to soften the eyes a little.
I had it actually after that date.
Oh, okay, so then maybe
I don't,
it was
I don't
that.
know if you've seen me. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so now speaking of people with these like stigmas about Botox, now I was presented this weekend with a girlfriend who's like, my husband is so opposed to Botox, but I want it. She's like, I have this line and I can't stand it. And I was like, I have
He's
all
never
the
gonna know.
Botox.
Just go get injected.
Well, so
and
I
he'll
was
never know.
trying to tell her, I was like, if you explain to him maybe that it appeals to your like your confidence or whatever it is, I don't know. What would you tell someone to say to their husband that was like, no
Yeah.
Botox for you?
Well, if I can,
Or fillers even, any of it.
I'd love to hear what you think, but
Yeah.
what because I get this question all the time, and what I tell patients is, I'll say, bring your husband in, because I think what men are afraid of is that their wives are going to look weird, and that's because rightfully so. If you walk around Beverly Hills, sometimes you're like, what the heck are these people doing to their
Totally.
faces? But I always remind people, you're seeing bad plastic surgery.
Yes.
You're not seeing the work done by guys like me or good guys who know how to do this and do this well and make it look natural. So I say, bring your husband in. I'll talk to him. I'll tell him, listen, I promise you she's going to look amazing. And this is my approach and this is my philosophy. And some wives do that, some wives don't. But the ones that do, their husbands come in and they're like, you know what? I trust him. Go ahead and do it. And then they love it.
They love it. And even John, last time I went in and I got Botox and some other things, John was injecting me and was like, okay, this is very subtle. And I was looking in the mirror, couldn't even tell what you were doing, which is amazing. And he said to me, if you, I'm being very natural right now, which is my normal approach. If you want anything like more than this, if you want me to do a little bit more, great. Go home, ask your boyfriend what he thinks, and then let me know. Because that's totally it. Because sometimes it's also hard for you to tell on your own self, and this person's looking at your face every day, like how, and my boyfriend was like, everything looks amazing and I can't tell anything. You look great. Like,
And then he sent her to me for a backup opinion. And I
yes.
was like,
he
you
said,
look
go ask
great."
Jen what she thinks and she'll tell you the honest truth. And she looked at me like, what did you do?
Yeah. I was like, tell me everything. And when can I get it?
See? And then we started the conversation about how it's great. And also don't forget, you guys, if you're gonna do stuff like this, like, stuff that gives you like results in real time, which is great and a good, like, I think a good way to spend your money. You also have like, you can't not pay attention to the surface stuff too. And like this, so Honor MD was started in 2012, right?
Yes, I think
okay.
we started the initial like few products and then we built from there. But that's an excellent point because a lot of people come into the office and they're like, I just want Botox or I just want filler. But the skincare is the foundation to everything. So you want your skin. If your skin looks beautiful, whatever else you do after is going to look even better. So that's always been our philosophy. Like this
Agreed.
is the foundation. And like you said, it's expensive. So if you're going to invest this much money in whatever, injectables, other things, you might as well protect that investment with sunscreen and vitamin C and taking proper care of your skin.
Yeah, because you can't just do like one thing and then just think like, oh, that's going to be it. You want to like prolong all of the things. You want to take care of your skin from the inside out, underneath, on top, like
and you
all
want
that.
everything to match.
Like
Yes.
also if you have Botox, but like acne, you can't see the Botox.
Yeah,
'cause it's covered
like,
in acne.
You gotta. It's just like anything, really. It's finding a balance, like relationships, dating,
Yes.
work, skincare, everything. Like you want to make sure you're paying attention. Like you're not just sometimes doing it and then sometimes not.
Right.
Like just going to get Botox and then ignoring it and laying out in the sun with no sunscreen and like
Exactly.
this sunscreen, the Honor MD sunscreen, is the best sunscreen I've ever put on my face. By the way, you know how when you put sunscreen on, then you can see it under your makeup. Not this. No. It's amazing. Just saying.
Lauren has tried all the products. That's
I
why
have.
she can say that she knows these things.
I have tried all the products, and I've tried a lot of different products, and I
Yes.
personally happen to like this one a lot.
So, okay, now we're talking bedside manner,
Yes.
obviously, because you are a doctor. And so, doctor.
That's
so-
the French version.
Right, exactly. Like Target. It's the same.
Yeah.
So, bedside manner is a big deal. And like you basically said, you even have bedside manner for the spouse.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's like, come on in, I will show you around.
But
Like,
it's
you'll
such
see
a-
how it's great. But so it's really important because obviously a doctor can do good work. But if a doctor like is mean to you or doesn't care that something hurts or
Not able to listen to a patient, like that's who wants to, especially when you're so vulnerable and you're in there like maybe you're gonna change my face or something, like that's a scary thing, or a part of your body, like you want to feel safe and protected,
heard, maybe.
These are all also things that I think like personality attributes that make a good husband, a good partner, a good
Absolutely.
father. It's the same thing. Like you don't want to go on a date with a guy or on vacation with a guy that you've been dating for a month that like makes you feel unsafe, and now you're in like some crazy random hotel room about to possibly get murdered. No, thank you.
Wow, we went far there.
I'm just saying, you gotta feel safe. You
Yes.
gotta feel heard.
out there.
You gotta like. I mean, these are things that you can be taught, John. I'm sure in medical school, like
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
bedside manner like things, but also this is just a personality attribute. I'm sure.
I think that's such an incredible point. I've never really thought about it, but now that you mention it, I have to say that like I do care very much about listening, and I care and Ursula knows this. She knows I care very much about our relationship and listening to her, and making sure that I'm a good husband to her and I always check in with her.
He
And
always prioritizes it
Yeah.
and makes it a point to like communicate that to me, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, yeah.
So I love that.
Well,
So
now
he's
if-
older and wiser. than
Yeah,
I am by
yeah.
a little bit.
Interesting.
and distinguished, guys.
Yeah.
But now only if everyone could use those same principles and apply them to just relationships in general, even just with friends, anybody.
Any relationship,
But
but especially
especially
a romantic
relationships.
relationship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like if you almost not had kid gloves or walked on eggshells, but like just treated somebody like with respect.
yeah.
Like almost like they're your customer
think-
in this relationship.
I think it's like just pay attention, guys. Like guys, we're talking to you,
Yeah.
and girls. But guys, like, you know, obviously for Dr. Diaz, it's his job to like listen to a patient, ask you like, I want these things, and let's like you've got to find like different ways to communicate with every different patient. Like this is a skill that you have to have outside of the OR, right? But like
not everyone has it though, I'm
not
sure.
everyone has to practice it that hardcore every day. It's like very important for you. And Ursula, when people come in and say, like, I remember I came in and had a consultation with Ursula about my skin, and she looked at me and said, what do you want to be different about your skin? It wasn't like, well, you need to da-da-da. She wanted me to tell her what I wanted different so she could then hear me talk and give me the right thing for what I want. And it wasn't just all about what Ursula's opinion about my face.
or
And-
like upselling or any kind of like motive there. It was you actually cared about the patient in this case. So
And
it
I think
seems
that's
like
our
you
style.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you both probably do that with each other.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
Ursula's great about
I
that
think
too. Yeah, and I think it comes more naturally to women, which is I think what you were alluding to, because I think all of you are a little bit better in tune with like emotions and kind of with yourselves and what you're feeling and communicating that. And Ursula is amazing at that and has always been. And I have to say I'm not perfect, and I definitely have learned so much, and she's made me a better man. But I think that at least I always tell her at least, you know, I care and like I want to be better. And when she tells me, hey, listen, I didn't like this, or like I feel like you could do this better, I really care about it, and I pay attention, and I'm like, you know what, you're right, and I want next time I want to be better at that.
That's a,
Yeah.
I mean, awesome professional skill and romantic skill to have. Like,
Because okay, you hear people say like that their fight is like it's like almost tit for tat. Like, well, you like people are overly critical, or like, well, you're trying to change me. But I feel like if you have the same goal and you're going in the same direction, you actually both want to be better anyway.
Yeah, and I think we're both like students. We love to learn.
Yeah.
And when we were first getting married, we took like, what was it, like Marriage 101 or something.
Wait,
And
what is that?
It was such a fun class. It was like, it was a class,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It was like
What
a,
made you
a
wanna take that?
program.
because there's constant learners.
That's what we feel like. We're like constant, what was it, like lifelong learning.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we both love that. Like we both love taking skincare classes, or we love taking, in this case, marriage class. It was, I want to say it was through our church. And
Oh
it
my
was,
God, that's so cute.
it was really awesome because every week was like something different, whether it was like how to be a better communicator or how to fight better or whatever. There was a different topic topic, and it was so fun to hear these other couples talk. And
Yeah.
some had been married for 2 years, and some had been married for 30 years. So I feel like we're both really good at that. Like we want to learn. Like we're learners.
Yeah.
Well, that's gonna make you better, I think, just in general in life, all across the board.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly in both of your positions, you've had Honor MD for a couple years now. You're about to launch like a facelifted, if you will, version of the skincare, because you're like, you're not just like, oh, and here it is. It's been sitting on the shelf for 15 years. Like you're like constantly making it better. I saw the packaging and stuff. It's like real cute with the little droppers and the things. Ursula was
Lauren
showing me
consulted
everything.
for us.
I mean, I'm the customer, so she was like, what do you think is cute? But she's like, I went to her house to hang out with her. She's like, can you just tell me if you think this dropper is cute? I'm like, she's like totally into, but that's the thing. It's like,
I love it.
you love it and you're constantly trying to make things better. And that, I think if that's something that you feel like is within you, that makes you a better person, like across the board in a relationship with your friends. And that's where we're saying, guys, pay attention. Like, pay attention to what your girl is saying, listen, and just try to, it's not that hard. Just
No, and also the important thing is I think to say the things you mean. So like
Yeah.
people get into like a system where like there's games that are played, so somebody might not be completely honest. Say how you feel, but say it nicely.
Could you imagine if you went into the plastic surgeon and you didn't really tell him what you wanted because you were like,
You
well,
came out like a clown.
I don't really want my lips to be bigger. But it's like, just say what we can't do the things you need in anything in life if you can't just say what you mean.
Unless
or
you're a
mean.
psychic and can read minds, which can people really
We've
do
also
that?
had psychics on the show before, and let me tell you, that was a fun day.
It was a lot of fun. Okay, so now we have been talking about how you guys have this wonderful relationship and working together. How would you advise other people sign on to work together and approach this?
That's a great question. What do you
That is a
think?
well, I think that you have to establish rules up front for anything. For
Yes.
like a business relationship, for even a marriage.
You
like,
have given me that advice before personally,
Yeah.
Ursula. You're like, listen, I called her like crying, and she was like, you need to set boundaries. And it's true.
And then if you get it all out in the beginning,
Yeah.
like this is what I expect. Like, does this work for you? Like, these are our rules. I mean, I guess that sounds harsh, right? Like we have rules, but just kind of setting boundaries, like you said.
Well,
like,
say what you mean.
Yeah.
Or what you want.
and then you know
Right.
exactly what's expected. And like, okay, we decided that we will do this, or we decided that we will not do this, or we have decided that if this comes up, this is how we'll handle it.
Which
And-
is great because then you know and you're both on the same page. It's not a surprise.
Nobody's surprised. Yep.
Yeah.
You're not like,
I hate surprises.
right. Like what you can say is, well, we had established that this was this and you didn't do that. And then it's like, well,
And then that's how you become better, right? Like
it's not
Yeah,
a he said,
you're
she said.
human.
It's within the framework of the rules.
And you know, women have really good memories. I don't know about you guys, but me, I'm like,
oh my
Only for
God.
things that are important to me.
My boyfriend tries to tell me that it's a constant need to be right. I'm like, no, I just am not old and forgetful like you. It is just that I remembered
He's
what you
distinguished.
said.
Distinguished. And
But
wise
yes, we do
and
have very
forgetful.
good memories.
So guys should be aware of that. And it's different communication styles.
Totally.
So like, I remember exactly what we decided. And maybe John doesn't remember exactly what we decided, but I remind him.
We're like the big picture kind of the gestalt. I kind of remember it was this or that.
Yeah, so big picture details. And so you need to like balance each other out.
But John, you in your line of work are like a very detail oriented. So you
Yes.
must just like access that skill in the moment and then you like shut it off. You're like, gotta go, can't keep doing that. And then
Exactly.
That's
You hit the nail on
100%.
the head. Selective.
Yeah, selective. You're right.
memory.
That's
because
right.
you would explode if you had to have that kind of detail all day long, right? You're
That's-
in there like measuring people's it's like bone structures and I can't even like I could never. I would be the worst plastic surgeon.
I don't think you. I think you would be so amazing.
Or
You have a good eye.
like,
You have a
so
good aesthetic eye.
organized.
I feel
Yes.
like you'd be good at designing the face, but then you'd be like, I don't remember how to do
and
that.
then I'd be like, you do it. But
I
also
tell
Yeah.
Ursula she'd be an amazing plastic surgeon.
my
She has
God.
such
I
a good
would,
aesthetic
like, throw up on
eye.
the patient. Like, sorry, I can't see blood. I'll be back.
Are you really
I'm gonna
that?
close my eyes and do
I'm
it.
so bad.
Are you really?
Like, so
See,
bad.
if you follow them on social media, which we'll also get to make sure you guys know what's going on, and you're kept abreast on all of their things, you will see John does like surgeries that are obviously the patients are. Yes, please show my surgery for like, you know, teaching and like just knowledge of people. Like you're in the room with them. Like you're like, he's like, this is a breast augmentation. This is and you're like watching the surgery on Instagram. And I am totally into it. I watch them all. I'm like, this is so awesome.
A lot of people love it. A lot of people don't.
love it.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite thing, and to be there in person and you can like smell. The smell.
What?
Oh, that's different. I'm sure that's different. Yeah, well, you're burning skin and there's blood.
No, the
and-
sounds for me are like just sounds. Even like the dentist, I'm like, like I don't want to hear them flossing and doing the toothbrush.
We were just talking about this microblading of the eyebrows is a thing, right? Like John doesn't do this at his office, but you can go get your micro. They're like like a
tattoo.
It's like a tattoo, but it's not.
But a very
permanent.
natural tattoo.
And you,
If
when
done well.
yeah. And when you are, my eyebrows are microbladed, and you can hear the flesh ripping.
I haven't done it, but I want to do it. And so Lauren was giving me the background.
Oh, you can hear it, and I can't. It's like
the thought.
every
No.
stroke. Yeah, no, it's no joke. But like we've got John in here, like ripping people's skin open. Like it's a. I mean, yes, watching a video is clearly different than being in the room.
But I mean, it gives you a tremendous insight of like what's happening.
yes, and it makes it less
Right.
scary.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like,
because you know what to anticipate, and I mean, I'm sure you would probably walk a patient through during like a consultation or whatever.
Definitely, yeah.
But now people can see it, and it becomes accessible, and it's not Grey's Anatomy, so like you can actually see what's going on.
And it's a great thing to look at and see. And also, like we were talking about, bedside manner is a huge thing. If you guys are like, it's a nerve-wracking process to go through, and I can attest, like, John and Ursula are so calming and so like nice, and
We're so sweet.
no, but it's true. Like you don't want, just like going on a date. Like I think it's a very transferable idea to like compare, because you walk into this situation where you're very vulnerable and scared, and you really want to feel safe and comfortable. And that's like a number one, I think. And if you feel like this doctor, I can trust this doctor with whatever is about to
Especially
happen.
you're also about to go under potentially.
Dude.
And there's a lot that can happen. Or, you know, you could buy products and then your face turns like red or
who
whatever
knows what.
happens.
Yeah.
But if you actually like have access to people like you guys, you can talk to them and have a conversation.
It is
and
half the battle. If
Right.
you've ever gone into a plastic surgeon's office and had a conversation about something you want different, whether it's injections or whether it's a surgery, it doesn't matter. It's scary, and you need to feel comfortable, just like on a date. It's the same thing.
Yeah, if only you could ask somebody you're on a like first date with. So what would the rest of this dating look like?
why
Like how painful is this gonna be?
What can I expect when it's
Right.
all said and done?
What's the downtime?
What's the downtime?
Yeah. How quick can we
How
turn this
happy will I
around?
be?
Yeah. How can we recover from like this beginning phase?
When can I go back to work? Like it's like, I mean, honestly,
No, but you're right. It's about people skills, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
Totally.
Yeah, and it's funny because, unfortunately, in the past, medical schools focus so much on academics. They've been changing, and they're actually they're trying to attract a more well-rounded people, because they realize that sometimes just because a guy is like super brilliant and like can
Or
memorize
woman.
or a woman, right? Exactly. In fact, there's more women now in medical school than men.
Yeah.
By the way.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Great.
Yeah, so they've surpassed. But if you can relate to people and be more well-rounded, you're gonna be a better doctor overall.
1,000,000%. It's
Yeah.
such a like
Well, if you're
personal
gonna pick two
experience.
doctors and one has like good bedside manner and the other one has shit bedside manner, you're gonna go to the one that you actually like talking to
Hell yes,
and feel safe with.
I remember
I think.
doing due diligence for like a procedure that I wanted done, and I went to John and didn't go to anybody else. I was like, done. That's the person, because you feel comfortable,
You
and that's
do.
it's just like when you know that person's the one.
because they give you sense of peace
That's why. That's what happened.
before surgery or marriage.
Same thing. And there's a couple quick, like we were talking about, like bedside manner, doctor-patient relationship things, like
Or working together, actually.
yeah.
This is about having a healthy working relationship.
yeah, and there's like there's a couple things that are like under the doctor-patient relationship, like things like lists of bullet points, and some of them are like negotiating plans, establish a safety net, survey problems, negotiate priorities, like prepare yourself. All
Like
of
getting
these
into a
things- yeah.
relationship.
And these are all things that I think, like again, like we're saying, makes a working relationship work, like you guys have. And to think about these things, like those things are good for everybody to pay attention to.
They are. And now we have a couple tips for how to have a healthy working relationship.
Yes, we do.
If you're going to work together, strive for an overall balance between your work and personal lives.
Yeah. I think that's really important. Like we said, like compartmentalize. If you feel like you're getting like bombarded in the office, maybe take a vacation, all right? Like,
Yeah.
And the second one is
leverage each other's unique strengths. So like we talked about that already too. If you're, if John needs to be told to do this better or whatever, like that,
right.
I was going to, actually, I want to add to that, because one of the things that I think works so well with us is that I come to this, like with the skincare line, I come to it with this like very scientific mind, and I'm like, this ingredient has all this proof and evidence and blah, blah, blah. And like and I have no great sense for like packaging or the looks of it or the smells or how it's going to be applied. And that's where Ursula comes in, because she's like, yes, I know these ingredients are amazing, but we have to make sure that it has the right feel and it has to have the right look, and it should feel this way when you put it on, and the smell and the packaging is important. And I'm terrible at that.
Yeah, but that we balance each other out in that way.
Right.
That's perfect, because he's like business, I'm creative. He's
Totally.
more like scientific. I'm like, well, like it has to be beautiful.
Yeah.
No, but that
Somebody
makes
has to
sense. So
wanna,
it's
like,
all
look at it.
inclusive for sure.
And these are very pretty
Yes,
bottles.
they are.
Okay, so now this one, obviously, you guys have covered pretty much all of these. Decide on a common goal and check in with each other frequently. So you guys have your rules, you have your goals within your business, you have like a pretty structured framework, but also like live, within that and probably break the rules.
Well, I feel like it's just all over the place. Like we have to learn everything over again because we have a baby.
Yeah.
But you have a baby, but it's about constantly checking in, which makes it's not like you have
Constantly
one
checking in.
conversation and
Right.
that's it.
Right,
No,
right.
constantly checking it and
Yeah.
compromise.
Yes.
Huge one.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
and respect 24/7, a huge thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're at home, if you're in front of people, and then you go home, and then it all of a sudden all the gloves come off. No, you're always respectful. You're always,
Literally.
you're making out in the office and at home.
Right. Both places, guys. Also, you set aside business free time. So maybe
That's the
not
vacation
while
hour,
birthing
yeah.
the baby.
Yes.
But after.
And
Really
those conversations can clearly are going to happen, but like
Right.
you just keep in mind, you constantly check in. I think that's
Or sometimes you have to just like get it all out so then you can move on to the business free time. So
That's more me.
and
My approach.
it would be mine too. Like, let's just get it done and then we have fun.
But above all, marriage always comes first.
Always.
So that's like the most important thing. Clearly, with you guys, it is obvious that that's the key. And that's what drives the success at work, I think, too. That foundation. You're talking about having a good foundation. Skincare, you need to have a good foundation, like with anything in your life. So you guys have a good home life, a good communicative marriage. It translates home. I mean,
Absolutely.
at the office.
Absolutely.
That's such a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, now we need you guys to help everyone else.
Yeah.
And we're going to play our game.
We're going to
Since
play our game.
You guys have both successfully navigated the dating and relationship world, obviously, and you have found true love together along with a business partnership. Maybe you're going to help our audience. And she says, sorry, Dan, that's so cute. You're going to help our audience figure out how to do the same. We're going to list pivotal moments that occur in a relationship, and we need you two to use your expertise in love, which will be injecting your medical practice to help decipher if someone should stay in a relationship by saying, put a Band-Aid on it, like stay in it, or if they should leave by saying, rip it off. In our game called
Rip the Band-Aid. Okay, so we're going to list something and you say put a Band-Aid on it or rip it off, like depending on what you think. If someone, okay, so if you have a fight and your partner always responds with the silent treatment, always.
I mean,
Maybe
are
putting
those the two the only options?
Yeah, like, put a silent
The silent treatment.
Wait, but the silent okay, fine.
But okay, I mean, we're thinking that that's more like rip it off. Like you don't want to like.
Well, I think the silent treatment is
But you're just dating, right? Nobody's married here.
Doesn't
No.
matter. I mean,
Okay.
I think what you're referring to as the silent treatment is you need space. You're not actually giving somebody the silent treatment. Like if somebody writes you, you will write them back, but you're
Oh,
not
yeah,
ready
true,
to have a
true, true.
conversation.
I
We're
have-
talking immature silent treatment. I am going to not answer your calls or texts or anything.
I would say put the Band-Aid on, but you have to say, listen, like we got to work on this. And if they still keep doing it, then you got to rip it off.
I agree.
I would say rip it off. If they're going to constantly shut down, you can't. I mean, how do you build on that?
True.
Agreed.
Good point.
Okay, we've got a couple more and then we're out of time. But okay, so you and your partner talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, all the things openly. You just talk about it.
Yeah. Do
Is that-
we talk about it?
No,
Okay.
no. Like,
This
is
is
that good? Like,
rip the
if
Band-Aid
someone's
or-
doing that, is that rip it off or put a Band-Aid on it?
So that's a negative thing?
No, I mean it's a matter of
You don't
opinion.
think it is?
I think it's a great thing.
Yeah.
I
I
do
do
too. Talk about it.
Same.
I was going to say
same.
put the Band-Aid on.
Yeah,
that
put
would
the
be
Band-Aid.
if the two choices, put the
Yeah,
Band-Aid on.
yes.
But if there's something that your partner's telling you that makes you feel uncomfortable, you could say, maybe you could leave that stuff out.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to have a boundary with
Right.
them. I
Sometimes
agree.
ignorance is bliss.
Okay. Your partner says, I think you should lose like a little bit of weight.
What's it mean?
So then what would you say, Urs?
Well, if you don't like me at my worst, then you can have me at my best.
Yeah, so
rip it off.
Clearly, this is nothing she would ever hear from me.
Yeah, of course not. But
I-
that's yeah.
I had a baby and gained lots of weight.
Oh my
so
God.
if
geez.
he would've-
I
if he would've
gained
been
more
like-
weight than she did.
That's very supportive of you.
Rip off the Band-Aid.
Yeah, I agree.
Agree. Okay, and then the last one, you feel most secure when you are physically together.
Like codependency?
Yes, that's what that's alluding to, is what I read.
Yes,
Urs
that's
is like dissecting everyone. She's like,
She has good sense, though. You're right. No, you're
I just
right.
want to make
Trying
sure I
not to lead you.
understand.
No,
but yes.
but
Say what you mean. Right?
yes,
Right.
I feel like maybe we are a little bit codependent.
No, but that is to say, you only feel secure when the person's in front of your
Right.
eyes.
Oh.
Like you would just like spending time together, probably.
Yeah. We like, and because
my favorite.
I work a lot and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't see each other as much as we. Well, I shouldn't say it. We see each other a lot, but
well, not so much anymore. But
Yeah.
we it's great.
Yeah,
Like just a
but
perfect.
you.
But I would say put the Band-Aid on. But if it becomes like this like suffocating thing,
Yes.
then like you got to rip the Band-Aid.
Yeah,
off.
rip the Band-Aid off. And if you
gets weird.
only
If it's
feel
a trust thing
Yes.
too, like
Yeah.
I have to
Yeah.
see you at all times to know you're not doing something bad, then
that's
rough.
the problem.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay, so
If
really,
you're stalking, like
To-
you're.
you don't want to be in that situation at all. Okay, well, thanks for playing our game with us,
Yay.
guys. That was very informative. And also, before we wrap, please let everyone know about the launch of your new products, when they can expect to see that, and where they can find everything.
So we are launching in July.
Yes.
And it's going to be a clean line. So it's a medical grade line, but it's clean, meaning that it's non-toxic and it's super effective. So you can find it on honormd.com.
Yes, and you can follow them on HonorMD Instagram and look at all of the beautiful photos and the beautiful products that are soon to come, just in time for summer.
Oh yeah.
And
Get
where
that
can
summer
everyone
face.
find you all on the social medias?
So honormd at honormd and Dr. John
John
Diaz.
Diaz.
Yes, and Ursula Diaz.
If you want to follow my personal journey as a mom.
I would,
Ursula
because
I
it's
Diaz.
would.
very
You
cute.
take cute photos. You post a really cute picture of your
Yes.
daughter with books.
Oh my God.
She loves
Who
books.
P.S. looks exactly like John.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is your child.
is
you
mini
brought it to
John.
the world, but it's your child.
It's
There's
like
no denying.
no
Yeah.
denying
Where she
that
came
John
from.
is the father
But
of
maybe
that
your
baby.
second one will look like you.
And when,
there you go.
and when I came over to see her and made her let me hold her, she was like not having it, but I made
She
her.
loves Lauren.
I know she does, but I'm like that with animals too. I'm like, I will hold you tightly against my body
I
until
will make
love
you
me.
love me.
Sage was like, I'm not really into this, but I was like, no, you're gonna like it, and I got like a good 10 seconds out of her, and then she was like, not having it.
This is her relationship style,
She
guys.
was like, gotta go. Don't maybe approach dates that way, everyone, but cute babies and animals, yes.
Speaking of gotta go, so
Yes.
where can everyone find you, Lauren?
You can find me at Lauren Leonelli on all the social medias.
Amazing. And you can find me at Jennifer Golden on all the social medias as well. And you can find us here next week for another episode of It's Complicated.
Yes, follow us on @ComplicatedShow and rate and comment and send questions and all the things. And next week we will be here with a special guest, drinking more things and talking about love or the lack thereof.
Right.
Or all of it.
All of it.
Yes. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in and listening and watching. And thanks, John and Ursula, for coming in. We had so much fun, and we will see you guys next week.
Love you a long time.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.